are we talking about when I say linear?
It's like equal amount of spaces in between each point. So
What's
it's
linear
not-
mean?
I don't know.
Linear.
Is it like
What do you reach around?
Straight.
It's a straight line.
like a straight?
Yeah, line. Okay, all lines are straight. Line. Line is straight. Okay, if it starts getting curved, it's called something else. All right? So in this case, would this be a line? Yes. So is it linear? Yes. Okay. So this is going to be a linear. We're going to talk about what non-linear will look like here in a minute. Okay, so that's going to be linear. They're going to put that, that's going to be part of your homework. Is to talk about whether it's a line or not a line. Okay, we're going to define linear here in a minute. Okay, so linear just means line. That's all that means. Okay. All right, so we're going to go down to the next table. Okay. All right, now, what are we going to do on this guy? Okay, we're going to plug in. Now, you have two options here. Okay, I don't care which way you do it. We are still plugging in for x, right? Okay, so we will take 5 times negative 2 minus y equals 3. Okay, does that make sense? So we're just still plugging in for x. So how would we solve this? What would we do here? John?
5 times negative 2 equals negative 10 minus y equals 3, and then 3 plus 10 is equal to,
Good.
so that'd be negative y equals 13, or y equals negative 13.
Very good. Okay, so this guy right here, negative 13. Okay, now, you can continue to do that 4 more times, right? Okay, because you're going to have to plug in each one, and you're going to have to solve every time for all 5 of them. Or, does anybody know a different option that we could do to maybe, so we don't have to solve 5 equations for this one problem? Anybody got any ideas? No? Okay. You can solve for y right off the bat. So if you want to go ahead, this is back in chapter 2, we talked about how to solve for a variable, okay? So if you want to go ahead and get y all by itself, right off the bat, you can do that, and then it'll just be quick order of operations after that. You won't have to solve it 5 times, okay? So here's what I'm talking about. And like I said, you can do either whatever you prefer, but if I'm looking at this and I've got to solve for y, what's some things that need to happen to get y by itself?
Divide by 5.
No, not divide by 5.
Add by 5.
No, not add.
Add 1.
You could add the y, but if I'm going to leave the y there, what am I going to do? Maddie was close.
You add the 5x to the other side.
No, you don't add.
You subtract.
You subtract it, right? Isn't it a positive 5? Okay. So you can start by subtracting 5x over to the other side.
Wouldn't it just be 3?
And so negative y equals negative 5x plus 3.
Okay.
Okay. And then what would our last step there be to get the y all by itself?
Divide by 1.
By negative 1, right? Okay, divide everything by negative 1. So y equals 5x minus 3. So now, instead of solving this equation out 5 different times, now I can just plug in right there. Okay? And so if I do y equals 5 times negative 1 minus 3. Well, what is 5 times negative 1? Negative 5 minus 3? Negative 8. Okay? And then do 5 times 0 minus 3. What do we get there? Negative 3. Okay? And then y equals 5 times 1 minus 3. 2. Good. And then y equals 5 times 2 minus 3. What do we get there? 7. Okay? So again, you have 2 options here. You can solve for y and then do a quick plug-in just like you did on the first one. Or you can take and solve this out 5 different times. I don't care which way. I will tell you right now, here in about another 2 lessons, you're going to have to solve for y. It won't be a negotiation. You'll have to do it. Okay? So if you want to practice that now to get better at it, do that. Okay? If not, and you do this, that's fine. But just note that here in a few lessons, you will no longer be able to do that. Okay? All right, now the next thing we got to talk about. You see this negative 2, negative 13. Does that actually fit on your grid?
No.
No, because there's only 10 spots on our grid. Okay? You are required to change the numbering to make the points fit. That's not negotiable as well. All 5 points will be on the grid, And when I mean on the grid, they're not going to be randomly out off to the sides anywhere or anything like that. Okay? So, I don't care if off to the side, because some people have problems, they write pretty big and they want to put like times 2, I'm going to count by 2s. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Or you can come in here and say, you know what, I'm going to call this 2, 4, 6. You see what I'm saying? I don't care if you number it in there or just put some off to the side and note about how you're numbering it. I'm okay with either way because I know it gets a little clustered in there if we're writing a bunch. Okay? So, I need -2, -13. I'm going to go ahead and just keep these as ones though. I'm just going to keep these spread out. I don't see any point in cramming all those together. Okay? But I am going to go down -2, -4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. So -2, 13 is going to be right here in the middle. -1, -8. Okay. 0, -3, so that guy's going to be kind of in the middle. 1, 2. And then 2, 7. So 2, 7 will be right there. Okay, and like I said, draw a line. Okay, so since this is a line, what do we call it? Linear, very good. So this would be linear. Okay, so again, I'm going to make a side note here. Okay, you may want to start practicing solve for y because you're going to have to do it here in a couple lessons anyway. Okay, it will make it faster and easier if you can figure out how to solve for y. Okay. Okay, I'll give right a minute here to kind of finish that up. Alright, so now the next two words we see there is output and input. Okay, what value do you think is the output numbers? Give me a hint. It's either X or Y. Which ones are the outputs?
X.
The Y's. What's coming out? Okay, so you need to think what's coming out. So what are we plugging in? So what we're plugging in is the input. What we get out is your output. Okay, so your input is always going to be the X's. Your output is always going to be the Y's. So input, what did you plug into the problem versus what did you get out of the problem, okay? So this right here, like I said, this is your input and this is your output, okay? So input is your X's, output is your Y's. These are what we're getting out, okay? All right, let's go to the next page. All right, so we're going to do the same thing, but now they give us an absolute value problem, okay? So we're going to plug in. So what's the absolute value? If you need right side, do that. What's the absolute value of -2? 2. What's the absolute value of -1? 1. Absolute value of 0? 0. Absolute value of 1? 1. Positive 1, not negative. What's the absolute value of 2? 2. Okay, so now when we graph this, -2, 2. So -2, 2. -1, 1. 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 2. What shape does that kind of look like to you? A V, okay? All absolute values will be shaped like a V, okay? So anytime you have an absolute value, it will look like a V of some sort, okay? All right, now with that being said, does this look like a line to you?
No.
No? So then we're going to call this non-linear, okay? So this guy is not a line, so he is non-linear. Okay? Non-linear, not a line. Okay? All right, so now we go to the next one. -2 squared. Okay, -2 squared, what is that? 4. Good, positive 4. Negative times a negative is a positive. Okay. Next one, what's negative 1 squared? 1. What's 0 squared?
0.
Okay. What is 1 squared? And what is 2 squared? 4. Okay. Alright, so let's go over and plot our points on this one. So negative 2, 4.